Hello and welcome to Alive with Amanda. We are going to reflect on 2025 in this video, and I'm going to talk about some lessons that I learned in 2025. And so first and foremost is the importance of taking care of yourself. I had a few health issues that I needed to take care of this year that made me put my business in some ways like on the back burner. I was actually took a leave of absence for about 6 weeks at the beginning of the year. And what was good about that is that my team is already used to that because I've been on 2 maternity leaves and they did amazing. They did fantastic. So they were like, 6 weeks, we can certainly do this. But when you're in private practice, whether you're a solo practitioner, a group practice owner, you're operating as CEO or anywhere in between, you really have to take care of yourself. That's the number one thing, because if your health isn't where it needs to be, whether that's your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional health, like any part of you, it's going to be really important to take care of that, because you're not going to be able to have the bandwidth to do the things that you need to do for your business. Now, I can't say my business suffered because I had to take care of my health. I just saw that I needed to take care of my health and that I had to take some time off. I had to attend a lot of doctor's appointments. I had to maneuver different meetings and different schedules. And so it's really important that we take care of ourselves. So first and foremost. The next thing is that sometimes, hindsight is 20/20, and that you may be going in a direction with your practice. You might decide you want to become a consultant or like a EMDR consultant, or you want to start a group practice, or, for us, we were looking at acquiring practices. That was like a big part of what I did this year. It was like the bulk of what I did. And you see, I'm looking off and reflecting. It's like, we thought it was going to look one way and then it ended up looking a different way. And that's not a bad thing. But in hindsight, I realized there are some things that I need to do in the future if we're going to acquire practices, for instance, to help that process run more smoothly, or to look for practices that are ultimately a good fit for the Caring Therapist brand and vice versa, right? And so I think that if you can reflect upon what you did this year and look at what worked, what didn't work, take some time to really think about what might look different in the future, what can I do differently, right? And so with our acquisitions plans, we have a plan that we built out this year to be very specific, to be very targeted about where Caring Therapists might expand, so that we can be really intentional about it. And not that we weren't intentional before, but we just want to have that plan, right? So, if you watch my videos, I'm a big fan of having a plan, right? I like to have plans in my personal life and my professional life. We can go into all of the reasons why that is. I can talk with my therapist about that too, right? But I do think having plans are really important. That's not a part of my reflection of this year. That's just a part of who I am and part of who I have always been. I'm going to give you one more epiphany I had, or one more piece of reflection for 2025. But first, I want to thank our sponsor, TherapyNotes. No epiphanies needed there. We love TherapyNotes. We use them in our group practice. We have over 100 clinicians that use them. They love them. There's a telehealth option, Therapy Fuel, the AI note taker, vastly improved how speedy our clinicians were able to complete their notes. We love the assessment tools. That's a big thing because a lot of the insurance companies do require that you do assessments for your clients, and having the tools readily available and updated on a regular basis is really helpful. And then, as always, you can pick up the phone, you can call TherapyNotes, you can get the support that you need. So I highly recommend you check out TherapyNotes. So my last reflection for 2025 is that what happened this year is not going to happen next year, and what happened this year is different than what happened in 2024. And so I have gotten a lot better with change, even though sometimes I drag my heels. There's a few changes I need to make in our practice and I'm dragging my heels. I certainly have that. But I've come to a realization that when you run a business, probably no matter what business it is, because it's just the way that business goes, is that things change. The industry changes, people change, your clinicians change, your employees change, the laws change. So change is inevitable. So I am going to be much more open to rolling with changes that happen and pivoting, and again, doing that intentionally. So probably my word for 2026 needs to be intention, as I'm reflecting upon that right now, and really doing things intentional for our business, but knowing that change happens and not all change is scary, even though it can feel really scary to me and to other people. I'm sure at my practice, every time I roll out a change, they're probably like, what is happening? But knowing that yes, stability is important, but change is also something that does happen. Well, this will be one of my last videos for the year, so I hope you had a very successful 2025.